Good evening, beautiful people. My name is Katie Kaiser, and I am out here in the beautiful state of Oregon, and I'm so grateful to be sharing this message with you tonight. I want to talk to you about how you can create your reality. We have the choice of our attitudes. We have the choice over our actions, and therefore we are creating our results by the way that we are thinking, the way that we're feeling, and the way we are deciding to live our lives. About a year and a half ago, I did not understand any of this, and so my life was a mess. But I want to teach you how I went from that messy scenario to reprogramming the way that I think, overcoming my limiting beliefs by becoming self-aware and getting intentional with my focus, and how I have learned how to live the way that I want to, how to be the person that I want to be, and how to have and do the things that I want in my life. I want to share that with you because I know how immensely yucky that felt, and I know how beautiful and amazing it feels right now, and where I'm headed, where you are headed, is truly amazing. You have greatness within you, and I want to teach you how you can create the life of your dreams. A year and a half ago, I was in a completely different place than I'm at now. I was working as a first grade teacher in a classroom in a low-income school where kids were struggling each and every day to make choices that impacted their lives positively. They were in complete trauma mode where they're having major meltdowns, they're throwing tables, they're yelling obscenities at me at 6 and 7 years old, and it was incredibly hard. I would have to do room clears where I'd remove all the kids out of the classroom while simultaneously calming down the nerves of the student that was having this major meltdown. It was traumatic. Every single day I felt like I was in fight or flight mode. And it was so stressful as the adult trying to manage this overwhelming situation. And in my school, unfortunately, that's not out of the blue. Like, all the other teachers were experiencing some of that same frustration because of similar kiddos in their class experiencing difficult circumstances. And so when I would go home, I would look for this solitude. I would look for this peace. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case because the environment that I had in my home life wasn't healthy either. I was in a relationship that, to be all fair and honest, just wasn't the right situation. It wasn't healthy, and it wasn't helping me to grow and to be the person that I know that I am now. But I didn't see it then at that point in time. You guys, a year and a half ago, I was at a point in my life where I wanted to be more, I wanted to be better, I wanted to feel good, but every single thing that I did to try and progress myself ended up making things worse. I was told on a consistent basis that I didn't love the person that I was with, that I wasn't worthy, that I didn't deserve to have the things that I had in my life because I wasn't being who I needed to be. I wasn't showing up in the ways that I needed to show up. But I knew in my heart that I was. I knew in my heart that I loved this person, that I was worth it, that I was showing them that I cared. But try as I might, it didn't come through at my home. And try as I might, it didn't come through at school. I was trying so hard to find an answer that I seeked out books. I seeked out quotes. I watched videos, and I tried to learn from other people in my life. And the more that I learned, the more I became empowered just a little bit within me. I knew that I had to do something because my inner reality did not match my external circumstances. For a while, I had been journaling, I had been reading books, and I actually set a New Year's resolution where I created a law of attraction jar where I would write things down of the life that I wanted to live and the person that I wanted to become, and I would feel all of those emotions at that point in time, and I'd put it in this little jar and I would visualize it and feel it. And the more I did that, the more in my relationship, it was viewed as me selfishly putting energy into myself instead of on us in building that relationship. I felt completely lost, you guys, because try as I might, everything that I did, the harder I tried to become the person that I needed to be to show up for other people, the worse I felt when that wasn't my result. I learned, you guys, that I was seeking validation from other people. I was seeking respect from other people. I was seeking love from other people. And I realized that I had given complete control over my life and my experiences and the way that I felt to other people. It wasn't until I made a decision to change all that and to empower myself that my life took a turn for the better. I decided that I had finally had enough of that. I knew that I was destined for more. I knew that greatness was upon me and that I could create the life that I actually wanted to. I just didn't know how. But what I did know was that I couldn't stay in that environment. I couldn't keep surrounding myself in that environment where there was people in my life that weren't supporting me, where there were circumstances in my life that were hindering my growth, and where I constantly felt like I didn't impact the world in the way that I wanted to. And so everything kind of came to a head, and I really feel like I hit rock bottom. I ended up moving out of the house that I was living in and back onto my family's farm. I lost my relationship. I lost my dog. I lost my life, and I lost myself. Well, at least about 99% of myself. I was so beaten down and raw and just felt completely stripped away because every single thing that I was doing didn't feel like it was enough. When I moved here to this house, I didn't have a bed. I didn't have a coffee pot. I didn't have dishes, and I didn't have my own self-dignity. But what I did have was this little piece of Katie Kaiser that wanted to exude itself. I wanted to be authentically me and to express that out into the world and really feel happy again. I knew that other people were feeling happy and that other people were living their lives in positive ways, and I just didn't quite know how to do that for myself. But the very act of throwing out my old life, throwing out my old self and my limiting beliefs allowed me to create something more beautiful. I really immersed myself in reading. I really immersed myself in listening to audios and watching videos of inspirational people that had the lifestyle that I wanted. I gave myself permission to feel everything that I was feeling, whether that was sadness and sorrow, whether that was empowerment and dreaming of what I wanted to create. I allowed myself for once in my life to just be me. I didn't have people telling me who I needed to be anymore, and so I had to create my own definition of what it meant to feel love, my own definition of what it meant to respect myself, what it meant to truly accept who I was and to exude my incredible, amazing self into everything that I did. You see, when you make a decision to accept who you truly are, you begin to grow and you begin to shine. When you recognize that not only is your authentic self deserving of all of your hopes and dreams, but that you are powerful and you have the ability to inspire others and to actually pull that life into your reality through the law of attraction. You become unstoppable when you make that decision to live the way that you truly want to live. By deciding that I wanted to live differently, I started to resonate with my desires instead of resonating with the chaos that I had previously been experiencing. I decided to rewrite the fabric of my universe. I began speaking to myself like I was the person that I wanted to be in the future. I started talking to myself and thinking to myself and feeling the way I would feel if I had already manifested the life of my dreams. I knew what I wanted to have later on. I knew the kind of healthy relationships I wanted. I knew the kind of things that I wanted to be doing, traveling the world, experiencing things with beautiful people and inspiring others because I'm having fun and enjoying myself. I knew that if I could exude all that I wanted to have in the future right now, that would pull it to me at such a faster rate. I started paying attention to the different signs that came up in my life, whether that was a new person, whether that was a quote that really stuck out to me, or a new book that would show up one day when I'm passing through the library. And I had started to notice that on Facebook, one of my really amazing good friends now, someone on Facebook that I didn't really know that well was posting such inspirational quotes and ideas and talking about the adventures he was going on. And I one day reached out to him and asked him what he was reading. And it wasn't the answer to that question that changed everything for me, but it was the conversations, the true, genuine spirit that he exuded when I talked to him that changed everything for me. Because the way he was living his life was intentional. The way he was living his life was charismatic and on purpose. And I knew that that was something I wanted for myself. And so the more I got to know this beautiful individual, the more I realized his divine beauty was being exuded outward from his soul, and I was just enthralled with getting to know him better. We finally hung out in person, and I was overwhelmed with joy because I had actually found someone out in the universe who was working on developing himself positively, just like I had been doing. I felt like our energies aligned so much that I was brought to tears. This person, Dane Prunk, introduced me to a way of life that is authentic and real and genuine. He introduced me to his friends. He introduced me to a culture of people, a whole community of people who are doing life the way that they want to. They're encouraging others. They're living passionately and following their dreams and helping other people to do so too. I am so happy, grateful, and I feel accomplished now that living this way is my daily jam. You guys, I learned that I had to make a decision. I had to stop resisting what was actually there and just throw it away. I had to recreate everything from scratch because what I was doing wasn't matching my reality that I actually wanted to create. I had to think and ask myself, am I enough? Yes. Yes, I am. Am I amazing? Yes. Yes, I am. Am I inspiring? Yes. Is my story worth telling? Absolutely. And am I brave enough to pursue what I actually want? Yeah. That little piece of me, that 1% that didn't get completely obliterated, has swelled and grown so immensely over the last year and a half. Over the last 6 months, over the last 2 months, over the last week, every single day I progress further and further towards the life of my dreams because I finally realize that I ultimately have control over myself. What I decide becomes my reality. And I want you all to know that you have that power within you too. And I want to give you a step-by-step plan, some action steps that you can take in your life to be who you want to be and stop dealing with all the crap that you've been dealing with, to stop feeling stuck, to stop feeling so negative about yourself that you don't want to wake up in the morning and carry on with the way that your life is going, because quite frankly, it's pretty sucky. I want to show you how you can go from that to launching yourself into the passionate, full life that you want to live, how you can exude health, how you can exude happiness, and how you can inspire other people to do the same thing in your life. There are a lot of things in our lives that we've always just lived by. Tony Robbins calls them our blueprints. The way that our parents raised us or the way that our society or our culture has impacted us has a lot of influence over the person that we think we need to be out in the real world. And a lot of those things are like ingrained in us at such a subconscious level that we've never even given any thought to it. So I would really encourage you to start to become self-aware. What are the thoughts that you're thinking about yourself on a consistent basis? What are the thoughts that you're thinking about what you're capable of? What are your thoughts on what is possible for you? Because what you think about yourself becomes your reality. You know, Henry Ford says, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. At least I'm paraphrasing his idea. But it's so true. We are creating our confines. We're putting ourselves in the box that we think that we have to be in by the language that we use with ourselves. So I would really encourage you to think about what's your biggest fear and what is holding you back? I'll give you an example. So a couple months ago, I went to an event where we actually dove really deeply into our limiting beliefs. And I got to this point where I was thinking about my childhood, and I had this experience that I didn't even realize was impacting me in my adult life. But long story short, when I was about 8 years old, my stepmom told me that I couldn't live at my dad's house anymore, and my dad went along with that. And so I ended up living with my mom for the rest of time. And that in and of itself, like, subconsciously told me that I wasn't like worthy of living with my family. Like, I had done something so wrong that I didn't deserve to be here with people that loved me and cared about me. From then on, my dad was expected to pay child support, and sometimes it would come through and sometimes it wouldn't. And as an adult now, I'm able to understand that there were extenuating circumstances. But the message that came to me as a child was basically that not only was I not deserving of time and love, but I also wasn't deserving of financial resources. And so that has, over time, allowed me to put myself into situations as a young adult that reinforced that. I put myself in relationships and in work environments and just everything in general, that reiterated that to me, that I wasn't worth it, that I wasn't valuable enough, that I didn't have enough to offer to be loved and accepted and appreciated for who I was. And it wasn't until a couple months ago when I really dove into this that I decided to let that go so that I could replace it with something more purposeful. I had this incredible opportunity with the beautiful people I've been speaking about to write some of those limiting beliefs down on a paper lantern. So I literally wrote, I am afraid that I will never be seen, valued, appreciated, or loved for who I truly am, and I'm worried that people won't see my true character. And so, like, saying it now, like, it truly almost makes me laugh because it just sounds ridiculous. But, like, that's something that I've been feeling my whole life. And so I wrote that down on a paper lantern, and collectively we had a couple hundred people. We walked down to a lake, and we watched the sun go down, and we lit these paper lanterns, and they filled up with hot air, and collectively we released them over the lake, and we just watched our fears float away. It was such a moving experience because there's things like that that are deeply embedded from my childhood that I had no idea were still impacting me to this day. But when I allowed myself to see it, when I became self-aware and I decided to release it, it opened up a space within me where I could get intentional and decide what I wanted to put there. So I decided to kind of change my affirmations and change the language that I used with myself. And so I want to tell you a couple of the things that I currently tell myself, that are completely different than what I used to. I tell myself now that I'm confident, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am growth oriented, reflective, positive, funny, intelligent, and caring. I am mindful, I am healthy, I am playful, I'm courageous and independent, and I'm at peace with vulnerability. I'm kind, I'm intriguing, and I'm charismatic. Saying all that feels so much better than saying, I'm not worth it, people don't love me for who I am, and no one sees me for who I am. Just in saying that out loud to myself, I've created a different reality, a different space, a different vibration that has allowed me to take different actions. Because as I've gotten purposeful about the way that I communicate with who I am, my external environment has started to match that as well. And so some of the people that I've attracted into my life, the books or the videos or the experiences that I've been able to explore now are so much different, but it's because I decided to release those limiting beliefs and rewrite my blueprint. You you have to set your vision, you guys. What do you actually want to create? Okay, so I changed that limiting belief into a positive affirmation. I am seen, valued, appreciated, and loved for the character that I possess and exude out into the world. I got so intentional with that focus that I started to feel it on a consistent basis. Every single day, I do things that launch me into the life that I actually want now. So after that trip a couple months ago where we released the paper lanterns, I came back from that trip and I wrote down all the things that I wanted in my life, spiritually, mentally, physically, in my social relationships, in my personal relationships, and then in my business and my career and where I'm headed. So I got really, really intentional, and I actually created a list of daily methods of operation that are my guiding principles for my life now. So in spirituality, I have every single day I breathe for at least 10 minutes and just reflect on who I am and where I'm going. I read what my life is going to look like in 3 years because I typed it all out on the computer. I write down visualization. So I say, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then I write down a big list of things and I read it out loud to myself. That's kind of the same concept as that law of attraction jar that I started a couple years ago, but I do it every single day. And reading it, some of those things have already started to come into play, like the day of. It's crazy how fast it's manifesting for me. I also express gratitude every single morning when I wake up, and I give myself at least 3 self-love compliments, and I write in my journal. Those are all the spiritual things that I do on a daily basis. Mentally, I have made a commitment or a decision to read at least 10 pages a day and to listen to at least 15 minutes of audios or watch a video of people that have figured out life, whether that's Tony Robbins or Jim Rohn or Oprah or Will Smith or Alexi Panos or a whole plethora of other inspired people that are living the way they want to live. It's adding value to me each and every day, and growing my mind is so important because ultimately our minds are like the computer programs. If we have downloaded good information, then we're going to be able to produce good things in our lives. Physically, at a bare minimum, every single day, first thing when I wake up, I do 100 crunches and I do 10 push-ups. Throughout the day, I drink a minimum of 45 ounces of alkaline water. And I also eat leafy greens, and at least once a week I go for a nice long run. In my relationships, I've been working really hard on building the relationships that I want and exuding the confidence and the beauty that a relationship should be, not the mess that mine was before. And so I say, like, I see you statements. Like, I really try and notice who people are and what they're doing in life, and appreciate them for what they're doing, because I know that's what I want more of in my life, for people to see that and appreciate me for exactly who I am. I also make a point to ask a really deep question to someone in my life and get them to think about who they are and what they want, because I know how powerful questions have been for me. And then I either text or call or spend time with one family member or close friend in my life, because I found that the people you surround yourself with most, you become the average of the top 5. It's the law of association. And so I'm getting intentional with the people that I want to spend time with so that I can build those healthy relationships. Socially, I'm trying to inspire the world by writing an inspiring post or making a video like I'm doing right now, or just adding value out into the larger community on social media so that I can share that with the world. I'm also seeking out a new book, a new quote, or a new person each day to add value to my life. I am getting outside and just experiencing nature and experiencing my community for a minimum of 2 minutes. All of these things are like my minimums, you guys, because what I found is that your minimums become your maximums. And what I mean by that is when you make a point to do something just a little bit, you end up doing that a lot more in your life. And when you do that a lot more in your life and you've been intentional with the habits that you're creating, you start to live the life that you want to live. Like, it just magically appears. In addition, I'm hosting a social event each week, whether that means I'm bringing my friends over for a bonfire, or we're going for a hike, or we're going to the lake, whatever it is. I'm trying to do something with people that's influencing a positive culture of the way that I want. And then in business, I'll save that for another time, you guys, but there's a lot of things that I'm also focused on there. And so in each and every one of these categories, I've like gotten really, really crystal clear about the kind of person that I want to become and the life that I want to live. And in having that depth of vision, in setting my focus, I've been able to take daily action steps. Brendan Burkhardt, who is the author of Motivation Manifesto, has a quote that's really been resonating with me lately. That's actually the book that I'm currently reading. And he talks about stepping outside of your comfort zone and just facing your fears, because every time you do that, you grow and grow and you become more confident in your ability to do just that. So here's the quote. He says, "We can choose the courage to put ourselves in the vicinity of fear over and over again until we grow more comfortable and then confident." You guys, every single time that you take an action or you step out of your comfort zone, new doors are opened, because you just did something that you've never done before. You just opened up this whole new universe of possibility. And it's like, if you just see those possibilities but never take action on them, they're going to fade away from your life. But if the universe is presenting them for you and you decide to take action on them, that builds momentum and you start accelerating through life, because the universe or God or whatever it is that this magical serendipitous bliss in this universe is allowing you to experience this for a reason. And if you can decide to take action on those things, to step forward into the life that you actually want, and to not be so scared, but to actually just exude confidence in who you are and what you want to become and what you want to create, I guarantee you it's going to start showing up. I guarantee you, if you, from then when it starts showing up, if you can get grateful for that and express your gratitude out into the world for the people, for the experiences, for everything, it's gonna show up more. It's like, that's like the multiplying factor, the 10x factor, if you will. Because when you are grateful for things, you are putting yourself in such a high state of vibration. You're exuding that out into the world. And by doing that, it magnetizes more of those positive experiences and people to you. A year and a half ago, when I was so focused on, oh my gosh, I'm not the person that I need to be, and I'm not worthy, and I'm not deserving, and like, I can't have love, and everything's stressful at school and at home, like, that's where all of my focus was. I was repeating that over and over. Like, that was my habit, to be stuck on the negative. Like, even though I knew in my heart, like, I wanted more, I was destined for more, that's not where my focus was. So where your focus is set, whether that's on your limiting beliefs or whether that's on like you being empowered and confident in who you are and what you're creating, that's what comes. Okay? So if you can learn to be self-aware and to reflect on, what am I saying to myself? What actions am I taking? And what results am I getting? And you reflect on that and like modify and tweak it to the way that you actually want it to be, then that's where you're truly going to become the person that you want to become and live the way that you want to live. Because it allows you to expand your reality, because you habitually learn to grow. You habitually take steps that are outside of your comfort zone. And if you want a different result, you have to do something different, because your habits create your life. Set your goals, set your intentions, make an action plan for doing so, and then track your progress as you go. With all of those things that I told you are on my daily methods of operation, I actually have a chart in a notebook where I have graph paper, and I am literally coloring in each and every day. Yep, I breathed for 10 minutes. Yep, I did my 100 crunches. And so I have this whole feedback form of what's gone well, what am I not hitting, and then I ask myself why. It's truly an asking yourself, you're asking yourself that question or those questions each and every day that is going to allow you to have a different thought pattern and to change something. You see, everybody wants to change in their life, They want change in their life, but they're not willing to change. So if you can just know that change is necessary for growth, just know that it's beautiful. Like, change doesn't have to be this like hard, scary thing. Like, when you shed your limiting beliefs, when you let go, you release all of that yuckiness, it opens up this space for you to manifest what you want, to grow and to develop into the human being that lives with purpose, with intention. Okay, I'm going to tell you one last step. If you can actually track this and get intentional about it, not only for yourself, but communicate that out into the world with others through accountability, it's going to set your focus on fire. When other people know your dreams, and they're the kind of people that dream too and are this focused too, it amplifies everything because you can ask each other those difficult questions. Sometimes it's seeing other people do it that allows me to do it. Sometimes it's me doing it that allows other people to do what they want to do. And so it's like when you can find a group of people that allows you to be who you want to be and helps you to grow, it inspires the world and it inspires you, and it's just, the growth is immense and it's so positive and it feels so incredible. I didn't know how to find those people a year and a half ago. I just knew I couldn't stay where I was. And so what I would encourage you all to do is a couple of things. One, set your vision. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? What life do you want to live? Two, track it. Actually create something on paper. Write it down and mark off if you're doing those things that take actions on it each and every day. And ask yourself questions so you can reflect on it. And number three, start noticing the opportunities in your life that show up, whether that's a person, whether that's a book, whether that's a quote or an experience or a new job or a new adventure, whatever it is, go for it. If it feels right in your gut, do it. Do not ignore your gut, you guys. Like, your gut is your heart, it's your soul, and you have to live on purpose, okay? Your intuition, your inner being is trying to exude what it wants to, and you can't just ignore it, okay? So those three things. And then last but not least, be grateful when those things show up in your life, because that gratitude expands it on an exponential level. I hope that tonight's talk, you guys, has allowed you to see that you can truly go from the bottom of the barrel to living in euphoric land. I don't know how to describe it to you guys. Like, there are no words. It's all a feeling. But you get to create the life of your dreams. You get to create your reality by choosing your attitudes, by choosing your actions, and being grateful for the results. Whether you have negative results in your life right now, whether you have positive results in your life right now, it is all because of your attitude and your actions on a consistent basis. If it's not what you want, change it. If it is what you want, do that more. Because you have so much greatness within you. You have so much power within you to be everything that you want to be and to exude that confidently out into the world. And you never know who you might be inspiring. You're all incredible and beautiful, and I have so much love for each and every one of you watching this video, whether we've met or not. I would love to connect with all of you and to just help you to grow. I hope that my message has inspired you to at least contemplate what it is that you truly want, and I would love to hear from you what you're doing in your life to take action on your dreams. Have an amazing day, everyone.